talking today about the tools to thrive in the Aquarian age. And this obviously, right? We need those tools. So, of course, this looks like an educated group of people. You've probably heard all these tools before. But I want to ask you something today, honestly, to ask yourself if you are thriving or just surviving. And I think this is like a collective kind of question, because I love Teal Swan, I'm inspired by her. And today I looked at my emails and she's got a course that says, are you thriving or are you surviving? So I'm like, amazing, you know, we're all tuned into these frequencies together. So, you know, and there's no judgment if we're surviving, because this is a big city. This is a censored, manipulated city, and it's a giant holographic illusion, okay? So this is some of the most fun work at all, and as Zoe was saying in her talk, it's kind of more like play. We can turn this into play. And it's so much fun to get to know who you are and what your purpose is on this planet. Does anyone know that? Have they found the answer to who they are? Yes, nice. And what their purpose is on the planet. Does anyone know what their purpose is? Few people getting there, right? It's a journey. It's a journey, and we all have to, that has to be our top priority, okay? The way we feel has to be our top priority, because we're all sitting here, we're all vibrating something, we're all giving something off. And that is creating our reality, okay? So we have to always be constantly tuning into that. So I really want to start by tuning in with Om Tari Tutari Today Soha. And I started working with this mentor, this ascended mentor, master. Her name is Green Tara, and this is a mantra from her, and when you chant it, it connects all the light workers across the world, and it also reminds us that we're attached to suffering. Many of us are attached to some form of suffering. So it opens us up to that space to release that. So I'm just gonna ask you guys to just close your eyes, and it's Om Tari Tu Tari Tu Me So Ha, okay? And we're just gonna listen to the music and chant it together. Om Tari Tu Tari Tu Re So Ha. 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 And I just want you to tune in to how you're feeling in this moment. Just if that shifted anything for you.
I don't want to suffer anymore.
Beautiful. And we don't have to, right? It's a choice. It's a choice because you're God. You're a sovereign divine being. You don't have to suffer. So I am now at the point in my life where things are no longer random. I realize, because words have meaning, I realize with my real eyes, my third eye, that I am creating my reality constantly. I have taken radical responsibility for my life. So we're all living in this mystery school. Every day we are walking, we are learning. Everybody is our mirror. Everybody that interacts with us is our teacher. And our words are literally coming true around us. Okay, so if we're still in the same loop of telling the same story and over, that is what we're going to see in our lives. All right, so every day we're seeing these lessons. I'm being tested. We're creating, we're manifesting. I'm following my intuition. Who has learned how to use their intuition yet? Good, a couple people, right? This is our gift. And if you're drinking tap water, the fluoride in the tap water actually calcifies the pineal gland, and then we can't make decisions for ourselves, okay? We need others to make those decisions for us, okay? I've learned how to read minds and seeing into the future and breaking down the past. We're healing the earth, talking to the mother, healing the mother, working with the trees. The trees, everything has energy. Everything in your yard. I'm learning the art of geomancy, and geomancy is literally when you, come on in, when you have okay, so geomancy is the art of connecting to the earth and seeing the angels and the guides that live in the earth, the people that have died, even like energy that's moving, water streams that are moving through your home. It's literally incredible to actually be able to see what is going on in your home and to be able to shift that energy. So, these are all things that we can do. You can reprogram your life 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. You can use telepathy. My husband and I are actually eating mostly sunshine these days. We do the art of sun gazing. So we stare at the sun in the morning, and we also stare at the sun at night. Does anybody ever do that, sun gazing? Yeah, awesome. All right, so we're eating mostly juicing, fruits, and distilled water. And let's just start there. You are what you eat. So how many times have you heard that? Lots, right? So this is pretty tough to hear, but are you eating force-bred, tortured, and murdered animals? We are what we eat, right? Or are we eating eggs, which is the period of a chicken? And no wonder we have so much anxiety. No wonder our bodies, some of us can't even stand to be in our bodies because we're eating something that was tortured and we're receiving that energy in every bite, okay? And we don't want to pat ourselves too much on the back if we're vegans and we're eating mostly a processed diet, right? Okay, because a lot of vegans that eat vegan don't feel very good because we're not eating holistically. If you're a vegan and you're buying the Impossible Burger, that's mostly chemicals. Okay, so there's a way that we can do this. Now, if you're feeling worse eating a vegan diet, then that could be also candida die-off. And candida is a cancer in the body. And candida feeds on dead matter. Candida eats meat. So our body is not fit to digest meat or dairy. It just isn't. And if and this is something that's coming up for a lot of us to begin to understand, and it's not new information, but it's coming up again because we're seeing so many people getting sick these days and dying of cancer. So these are some things we need to understand. We need to understand 3 things. Why do you need fungus, and why is there fungus? Because the fungus, your body cannot produce meat, so it cannot produce the processed dairy, so the fungus eats the dead matter, okay? So then it will become clear that eventually, when we start to think about these things logically, that our stomach is not acid, and we can't just throw anything in our stomach because it's not going to be able to. I know everybody looks really uncomfortable right now because I was a meat eater too. And so that is something that a lot of people don't really want to hear. But disease is man-made. And if we think of the universe, universe is in you. So we have to look into ourselves to find what is truly here for us. Okay, so what you eat will put you on the fast track to enlightenment. Jesus was a vegetarian. Did anyone know that? And so we have a juicer. We juice mainly oranges. That's mostly our diet. And it's very simple. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a juicer. They're like $70. And a bag of oranges at any of the farmers markets, 7 days of the week in Los Angeles are here for you, okay? So you can go and you can cheaply get a giant 10-pound bag of oranges for $5. And this sustains the body because the body literally can live on glucose, okay? The protein myth is a lie. I know everybody loves meat, but imagine we're seeing all this stuff going on in the world, and if there's viruses living within the body, like for example, when we're just juicing, there is no viruses living in our body because there's no dead matter to consume, okay? Also, what are we drinking? When the body is 70 to 80% water, what kind of water are we drinking? Brita or pure filters don't filter out the toxic chemicals, the pharmaceuticals, the birth control, the antidepressants. None of that filters that out. Okay, so the highest vibrational water you can drink is distilled, and reverse osmosis is a close second. And we actually store all our water in copper vessels like this. It actually helps remove impurities even further. Again, not expensive. You can get that for $30 or so. And it alkalizes it further. So we have to start somewhere. We have to get back to the mother, to get her, to get back to Mother Earth, to Mother Gaia, all right? So the human collective is literally dying from misinformation, leading to all these different man-made illnesses. So when we know better, we do better. That's just it. I didn't know. I grew up on a farm. I ate lots of meat and lots of dairy, and it was really hard for me to stop eating pizza. Okay, I had a favorite pizza at Trader Joe's. It's organic, it's got cheese on it, and it was really hard, but finally now, and we're substituting the diet cheese, but that's full of chemicals too. So it's just like, literally, the highest vibrational thing that you can eat is fruit. So that's mainly what we're eating now, is fruit. All right, so the next tool, learn to reprogram your mind. Ask, what is the best case scenario? In any situation, you're in a situation, for example, and your mind starts to go off. Say, for example, you're trying to meet a partner, and you think, oh my gosh, he doesn't even have a car. I wonder if he's ever had a girlfriend longer than a month. Or, your mind just goes off in all different directions. Okay, so you're gonna start to say to yourself, what is the best case scenario? Okay, so I used to do this work in the shower. I used to say, because the shower, your mind goes off. I don't know if anybody else notices that. It really does, right? Because you're all alone and everything's quiet, so you start asking yourself, what is the best case scenario? So when you're say for example, you're in the shower. I'll give you an example. And when I was working in a restaurant and I was thinking about, oh, this girl doesn't like me, or this is happening. No, Charmaine, what is the best case scenario? What do you desire? Okay, and we don't want to use the word want, because want implies we don't have. So when we say the word desire, we're opening it up. Even if you guys say it out loud, desire, right? Feels good. Want is like all those words that have a hard stop, they just stop and that's it. There's nothing to them. So when you say desire, you open up that space to create it, to bring it in. All right, so we're literally human vibrators. Every single one of us, we're constantly vibrating. And many right now, we're so wrapped up in these conspiracy theories, but as one of my teachers reveals, Josh X, he says, you know, the lies, these conspiracy theories reveal lies. The lies, yes, that have been perpetuated on the planet, but we need to look for the truth. Because if we continually sit in these stories that are going around and we're not seeing the next step out of it, like seeing us all like the Lumurians lived, for example, living their best lives, thriving, abundant, speaking through telepathy, using their intuition, using their gifts, okay? So that's the whole next step of the process. And this is why we say you only get 3 chances to tell your stories, okay? So you wanna, if you have a story, and it's a story that doesn't make you feel very good, you only get 3 chances to tell it, okay? And that's because when we keep telling the same story over and over and over, it becomes our life. I'm not even sure where we were, but there was a man who was about 70 years old, and I heard him tell the same story to a stranger right before me. And he said, you know, this is a horrible life, but the next life's gonna be better. And then I walked by and I was like, how you doing, sir? He's like, oh, it's a horrible life, but the next life's gonna be better. And I thought, you know, how do I shift his thinking really quickly, because nothing's gonna change for him. Nothing is gonna change for him because he's told that story, he's rehearsed that story so many times over and over and over, and nothing is going to change. Okay, you see, because that's what you're putting out there. Even, I'll give you a little example. When I first moved to LA, I was thinking that there's only short men here. Okay, and that's because I thought they were, all actors were short. And so I was like, oh, I'm never gonna meet, you know, a partner that's, you know, because I'm really tall. And so, and I realized that I was like literally attracting that. That is what I was going through in my mind. And so it was coming to me. That's all. It was because I was on that dating app Tinder, you know? And so then, yeah. So then I was like, okay, God, there's lots of tall guys in LA that are as tall as me. And sure enough, they all started coming out of the woodworks. You guys, we have to begin to listen to what is going on in our minds. Okay, so, in the Golden Age, on so many timelines in the time of Lemuria, we experienced heaven on earth. And we're moving into that Golden Age now, okay? And it is right now, you see, the dark before the dawn. And we were recently gifted a trip to Kauai by the universe. It just like everything just came in. And it was because we were to connect with the Lumurian people. And so we right away met a local. She took us into all of these secret places. She took us into like a blue cave, and we did a ceremony in there. And these people, I felt so connected to them. And I had recently, the only thing I had got there was this beautiful channeling Lumurian crystal. And the crystal I held in it was like, leave me here. Leave me here. And so I was like, oh, wow, okay, I gotta leave it here. And so I threw it into the water, held it, did a prayer over it, threw it into the water and left it there. And I felt immediately like the earth wrap around us. And the last part of this trip, we were tenting. And literally, all night I slept and I just felt so loved, so embraced. And I feel like now the Lumurians are working with us. They're coming back. They're this ancient civilization. And, you know, they had a choice whether they wanted to go back to Sirius. And actually, the Lumurians come from Kauai, if I didn't mention that. That was around some of the islands that they originally came from. and so they had a choice to go back to Sirius, and they back to the Palladian star system, or they had a choice to stay with us and fall back into the third dimension and help us to wake up through our awakening. So many people right now, I love your smile, Sam. Thank you, you're so sweet. Just for smiling. But many people that are going through this awakening now, some of them are these Lumurians that have these amazing gifts, probably some of the people that you met out in the hallways today. So they were really aligned, these Lumurians, with their higher selves, their I am-ness. They had a practice of meditation, and they all used these powerful gifts and understood the way energy works, the way that the quantum field works. And they acknowledged everyone as equals and lived in a state of oneness. And that's what we're coming back to. That's the golden age. Can you guys imagine that? If we all see each other as equals, right? And we all understand, we all come from the same root. We just have different branches because of our experiences. So every time we judge, there was he was an ex-convict, and he became like a speaker, and so he told the story about how when, he used this analogy of the gun analogy, and every time he shot something out, he was getting 3 fingers back. So if you shoot something to someone saying, what an idiot, 3 fingers back to you of that idiot vibration, right? So we have to think of this when, we're even driving in our car. Like today, there was this guy tailgating me, and then and my husband's like, I'm trying not to judge right now. Because this is our work. This is really our work. This is what's gonna make us vibe high and feel good. Because even I learned this lesson when I was like 11, I said something mean about someone, and it just felt so bad. And I had to learn that lesson. I had to make that so-called mistakes. Remember, there are no mistakes. Okay, you have to learn the lesson in order to change. Again, when we know better, we do better, right? If we didn't know, if we didn't have that consciousness, we wouldn't be able to grow. And that is the whole purpose for us being here. So, again, the Lumurians, they trusted their instincts completely, which led them to progress quicker. And that's what we're here to do, okay? And it doesn't have to be fast. We don't have to punish ourselves like, why am I not up on the stage? Or why am I not running my business? Or why am I not making $100,000 a year? Or why am I not married? Or whatever it is, that is going to keep you in the state of not achieving it. Okay, so we want to really begin to trust the universe. We want to begin to flex these trust muscles. I like to call them trust muscles. I like to kiss them once in a while, and be like, yes, I trust my body. I love my body. And then when, like every situation that is happening for us is here for us. Okay, everything. You get in a car accident, it's here for you. There's a reason. And sometimes it takes some time to find out. Maybe it even takes years later. It's okay, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay. Thank you. But it was here for you, okay? Because you were meant to slow down. The mind and the body is always connected. There's always something to learn. Always. And when you begin to trust that, life becomes easier. It just flows. It's just like, wow, okay, now, like I was saying, my life no longer appears random. Random things aren't happening anymore because my consciousness is running the show, not my unconscious. And so this is some of the work that we have to do. So and it comes from our core beliefs. So when I work with a client, we go back from 0 to 7 to see what happened. Because from 0 to 7, everything is programmed. That's why we say 777, because from the time of 21 months in the womb, the baby hears everything. So the baby is completely programmed by the mother. Then we have 0 to 7, everyone in the household, the child is programmed by. Okay, so if the father's an alcoholic and barely spends any time with the child's gonna grow up and look for an alcoholic that barely spends any time with them because that's what they know is love, right? So these are some of the things that we need to work through, and through awareness, we can heal anything. So some of these dominant core beliefs are, does anyone have any, or has anybody done any child work? Does anybody have any core beliefs that stand out for them? Yeah, go.
Success and joy can't coexist.
Oh, success and joy can't coexist. Whoa. Right, that's not true, is it? Does it feel true to you?
A little still. Yeah.
Does it? Okay, all right. So why? Who in your household said that?
I think I got it mostly from my dad.
Right, right. And so the little child in you believes that. But does it, if you think about it logically, is it true? Do you know anyone that is really successful doing what they love?
Yes.
Right. So why can't you do it? Right? So that's a core belief that Sam is working through. Okay, and we all have these core beliefs. So some of these examples are, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, if I try, I'm gonna fail, so I don't even wanna try. The world is out to get me. I'm unlovable, I'm alone. Remember alone when we break down that word? You got that one, I'm alone?
No, I had a different
Oh, what is yours?
Crying is like weak.
Oh yeah, because mom would say, shut up, don't cry, right?
Yeah.
You're a big boy.
Mm-hmm. Being a poet specifically.
Right, boys weren't allowed to cry.
We can't cry.
Right.
It's foreign to us.
Mm-hmm. And you see, it's kind of the same thing. This is another intense topic that men might not agree with me, but it's something to think about, right? We take a very young baby and we rip off a piece of their genitals. How is that loving? And that child is going to have a memory, and then we say things to young boys like, don't cry. You're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to, and these are things that this is why men are so tough sometimes. And they just want to go fight and drink beer and beat everyone up, right? Right? Because everything was ripped away from them, right? So these are things we've got to work through, okay? So when I first started doing this work, I would catch myself calling myself a dozy. Like I'd be at home and my mind would get all quiet and I'd be like, oh, you're such a dozy. I was like, what? What did I just call myself? And yes, everybody says, what's a dozy? Well, I'm from Saskatchewan, so it's a term that people would call themselves when they're lazy, no good, for nothing bum, basically. So that's what I was calling myself, and then I got on the phone with my mom, and she was like, your father is such a dozy. And I was like, Mom, you can't say that. You see how it literally was programmed in my mind. So that was my subconscious play. I'm walking around telling myself I'm useless. Where is that going to get me? Right? That was my vibration. I'm useless. Okay, so because I became aware of it, I was able to shift out of it. And now my vibration over time and patience says, you're amazing. You're beautiful. You're loved. You're so successful. You're fun. You're sexy. You're inspiring. Right? That's what my subconscious says. And I like to call this subconscious your inner roommate. So I tell my clients to give their inner roommate a name. Because if we give our, Roberta, everybody's inner roommate is Roberta or Neil, because when we give them a name, we acknowledge this inner child that is calling out for for attention, that's hurt. And so we really want to, give them a name to get them on your side. And again, how do we know these things are going on unless we get quiet enough? So we have to have some sort of meditation practice to be able to intuit, to go into the deep dark space of the womb, right? Has anyone ever done Kirtan Kriya? Have you heard of it? Okay, it's a super simple meditation. We're going to do it real quick. Oh, wow. Okay, timing's going, but I'm going to show you it real quick. Okay, so we're going to use both hands. I'm going to demonstrate on the left hand. It's very easy. Just bring your spine nice and tall and straight. We're going to use the mantra Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Okay, this meditation was studied by the Alzheimer's Institute. It was also studied by, it's literally the first thing that will balance your mind, your spirit, your heart, everything. Okay, so you press the thumb and the first finger. Thumb represents the ego. This represents Jupiter. This is Saturn. Saturn is the planet of lesson. This is the sun finger. This is Mercury. Mercury is coming into retrograde. So you want to press that thumb against the pinky finger when Mercury is going into retrograde to open up your lines of communication. Okay, and we do the mantra in 3 languages. We do it out loud, we do it in a whisper, and we do it in God's language. So out loud, the language of humans, whisper, the language of lovers, silent, God's language, okay? And we go through that, and then we also have, it's the cycle, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma is the cycle of life, birth, death. So just close your eyes for a second. We're gonna do it out loud, and you're gonna press both fingers together. I'm gonna put this down for a second. All right, so let's begin together. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. 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 All right, whisper. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. 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 Silent. And let's go back to a whisper. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Now out loud. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Last time. Sa, ta, na, ma. full breath. Feel the energy circulating throughout your entire body. And exhale. Just sit in this space for 30 seconds, tuning into how you feel. All right, and let's open our eyes. Beautiful, beautiful. Does anyone want to say how they feel? Share their experience? All right, it's okay, I feel good. All right, so it's through awareness, through this space that we get to activate and go into this deep, dark space of our mind to be able to listen, to be able to hear perhaps these subconscious programs that have been playing out in our minds. So again, this may take some time, but slow progress is the best progress. Because sometimes when we're in a hurry and we want to be these spiritual avatars right now, ascended masters on the earth, like, doing everything. We want all this to happen right now. This is when we get in trouble with the universe, right? Because God's not in a hurry. We are. So slow progress is the best progress, okay? And it's happening. Trust me, it's happening. I like to ask the Creator to let everything expand with grace and ease. And I always say things like, this is huge. I say, if it's for my greatest good and the greatest good of all, it will happen. Now, if we take one step further than that, you're just saying the greatest good of all. If it's for the greatest good of all, because that is the one, right? And then you never go wrong, ever, with any decision. So, when I have clients calling me, I have God bumps because this is really important for you all. If I have a client calling me about, let's say, for example, being a doula, and they have to decide, and I know that the God and the angels are going to, if it's for my greatest and highest good, if it's for all of our greatest and highest good, they're gonna book me. If not, that's fine. That's perfect. That's in the flow of life, right? So then we never need anything to happen. We never need to force anything or push it or like, it's kind of like someone was saying, I was saying the other day, I've been running into a lot of people who say that they don't care about money. I'm like, well then why would money care about you? Money's energy. It's the same as you. If we're all one and it's a piece of energy, it's not like you worship it, but you still have to care about it. And then I was mentioning this to my client, and she said, yeah, that's like people saying, I need it so bad. So if money is energy, would you be attracted to somebody who's needing you all the time? Right? It's not attractive. It's better if they just know themselves and they love themselves, right? Instead of needing it. So we have to get in that flow with everything in life, right? Just trusting in the universal flow of it all. All right, so gratitude is also latitude, as we all know. That's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, the last thing I do when I go to bed, and all day long I find some reason to say thank you. Thank you, like every single person in this room. If you make over $7 an hour, or if you have at some point in your life, you're in the top richest people, the top 11% of the richest people on the planet. Right? It's funny. It's so funny because we think that we're poor, and it's a huge thing. And I also used to think that bringing my head to the ground and bowing down and just bringing my head all the way to the ground like this and waiting for the angels, I say thank you like that. I used to think that was for other religions, but every time I have a manifestation come through, I know where it's coming from. I know it's coming from my angels and guides. And so I take my head down to the ground and I say, thank you. And you feel it. And then more comes in, and more comes in. And we literally just have to be in that constant state of gratitude, right? When we're in that constant state of gratitude, it's like, oh, wow, why is my day working out so well for me? Because yesterday or earlier in the day, you were in that future presence thinking about what you wanted to create. If you're having a really bad day, that is because of what you were thinking in the past. Because like I said, we're all vibrators. So what are you guys vibrating right now? What are you thinking? You're listening to me. If you're really paying attention, you could be, it feels like you're all paying attention. But you know, sometimes we could be thinking something in our head. Now that's when you can really connect with your angels and guides, okay? And the way your angel, we all have 2 to 3 guardian angels, 2 to 3, they're with you all the time. And guess what? There's a lot of angels in here that are unemployed because you guys aren't asking them for help. You have free will, and if you don't ask them for help, they can't help you. But they really want to. They love you so much. So here's how you tune into, has anyone been, so the beginning of a spiritual path, usually, I see it a lot, begins with seeing 111 all the time. Has anybody gone through that where they see 1111 all the time? Few people? Okay. So if you haven't, wait for it. It's coming. Okay, and what happens when you see 1111 all the time, the angels are like, hey, what are you thinking? Because you're creating that. And so at the beginning of, it felt like my spiritual awakening when that was happening, I kept seeing 1111. And I was usually thinking something that wasn't helping me. It was usually something negative, something about someone else. It wasn't completely inspired in love, in trust. Okay, so every time I saw 111, and you'll start to see it in your inbox, you'll start to see it on license plates, you'll start to see it on addresses, everywhere. It just starts popping up. And then it helps you daily, 30 times a day you might see it, to check in. What am I thinking? Am I thinking something that's helping me create what I want to see in my life? Right? So 222, when you start to see 222, that's a sign that you need balance, okay? We're coming into the equinox. We all need to bring our bodies into balance. That's why right now we're doing another juice cleanse. And you know, you can, yeah.
What kind of juicer do you use?
What kind of juicer is it?
It's just a regular masticating juicer.
What's the name, brand?
Kaynel, Kaynel.
Yeah, and it's $70, and it's incredible.
$80, yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk to you further about that at the end because he's a health coach as well. So, so staying in that gratitude. So 222, you see that? It means keep your thoughts balanced. 333, anyone know what 333 is? 333 is the angels like, hey, I know you need help. Just ask. I'm right here. I can help you. 444, when you start to see 444, okay, that's a big one. 444 is the angels are like, yep, we're making moves, we're working behind the scenes, we're making things happen for you. 555, time and change. 666, we're focused too much on money. To balance those thoughts again. 777, the angels are saying you're doing amazing spiritual work, keep it up. You, yes, you. 888 is bringing in abundance. Okay, the angels are bringing you in financial windfall. You've done such great work, abundance is coming in. 9999 is ahead, on top of, it holds all the other numbers, so it's a number, a time of completion. Okay, so it means you've gone through a complete set of lessons, and you're moving forward into the next phase of your life. Okay, so remember to ask these angels and guides. I highly recommend for goddesses in the Sophia Code, if you're interested in that. Archangel Michael, huge. Okay, if you're ever scared, you ever need just support, call on Archangel Michael. We were camping in Kauai, and there was all these like big trucks, and we were all alone in the top of this hill, and my husband was like, on high alert. I was like, Archangel Michael is here, we're good. Remember, there's nothing to fear. You are immortal. You've had more than one life. You would not be at the Conscious Life Expo if this was your first rodeo, okay? You might be in a gutter somewhere, okay? Because you're so far separated from Source. And that's what happens. And each lifetime we get closer and closer and closer to Source, to God, to Sophia, to the Creator, to whatever you call it, universe, uni, in you, reverse uni, in you. Everything begins with you. All right, let me just check the time because I have a feeling, oh wow, time flies when you're having fun. Okay, so tool 3, get to know who you are. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. Okay, so keep asking the Creator until you know yourself. For those of you who don't know yourself, ask, what are my gifts? How am I here to serve? We're all here to serve. That's where money comes in. It just starts pouring in when you figure out how you're going to serve humanity. It's it. And if you ask, you'll get the answer. That's all you need to do is start asking. Ask. All right? So, ask and it will come in. But you do want to know all sides of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. You want to take radical responsibility for your life. And many of us either play the victim or the victor role. Okay, so the victor is like, I'll give you an example. I was working in a restaurant where I learned most of these lessons. Okay, that's one of the greatest ways to learn to serve humanity. And there was a bartender that I was like, I just said to myself, whoa, she's gonna lose it. Like she's throwing things everywhere. Anyway, well, the next day she lost it. And the victor would say, see, I told you that would happen. Okay? That's one of the plays that humanity has. See? I told you that would happen. Not realizing that they unconsciously created it, that they had a hand in creating that situation. So because I was doing this work, I took radical responsibility and I said, whoa, I should have beamed her love in that moment instead of saying, she's gonna lose it, right? So I took radical responsibility and I didn't blame her. Okay, so, and that's what the victim does. Break down the word blame. Be lame. Okay, that's what is happening when we blame the world and we give away our power and we say, my mom didn't save any money for me or pay for my school or, I didn't have any opportunities. When we blame others, we lose our power. Okay, because each and every one of you chose your path, you chose your parents, we chose the reasons why we came here, we chose the lessons that we had to learn, and so everything, even if, so people ask, it's that there's challenging situations, I can feel it, and I can read minds. So there's challenging situations where we see that it feels like I didn't do anything to deserve what happened to me. And that is very true, and that is, there are those situations, and that is when we're dealing with past life karma. Okay, so, and karma, let's speak about that quickly. Karma is, so if you, like I said, you can't make a mistake, right? Because we're here to learn and grow. But if you make the same mistake over and over, the universe is going to test you. It's going to bring you the same situation, dangle it over your head, and test you. Are you ready? Are you going to create karma? Are you going to take the bait again? Or are you going to say, no, universe, I'm not doing this again? Okay, so that's how we don't create karma. And that's what we're doing in this lifetime right now. We're in the space where we don't want to create any more karma because we're getting so close to realizing that golden age, okay? Realizing that golden timeline where we're all experiencing this oneness together, living out our best lives, abundant, happy, healthy, free, sovereign beings, okay? So just notice whether we're doing that. So, and to do this is to call the universe a fraud, and it negates all that makes us equal and free. So we don't want to be blaming, just noticing where we're blaming. And when we shift this, we're going to experience immediate shifts in our lives when we take our power back. So some of the tools that I use are the human design or the gene keys to understand who you are. And the human design is based on the I Ching, the Jewish Kabbalah, the chakra system, astrology, astronomy, and it breaks down exactly who you are. It breaks down how to use your intuition. It's amazing. All you need is your birth date, your birth time, your city, state, country, and you'll have a full-on reading. It takes usually about 3 hours to go through everybody's information, but then you'll have a download of who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, so nobody can play you. You know what your weaknesses are, and you work on them, and you shift, and you know what your strengths are, and so you rise to the top in those fields, all right? And those that have fallen off the track, remember that, society is set up to dumb us down, unfortunately. We have the GMOs, the chemtrails, the vaccines, the table salt, fluoride, processed food, all of these things, movies, TV, they dumb us down, okay? This is society's way of stopping us from our evolution, stopping us from evolving. You guys are gods. God is within each and every single one of you. And you see the alphabet, so the alphabet has 26 letters in it, 1 to 26. You go around twice, it's 127. Genesis 1:27 says God created us all equal, man and woman, in his image. So God is within all of us. Jesus is in all of us. All of these ascended masters that we all connect with are within us. We are all in a mystery school, all ascending together. So, just a quick story. I was sitting next to a NASA employee. He was just a wonderful, retired man. We struck up a conversation. And he's like, why are people going so crazy? And I said, well, do you like horror movies? And he said, no. And I said, why not? He's like, they don't make me feel very good. I'm like, I know, me neither. And I said, but that is what you're tuning into every day when you turn on the news. You're literally watching a horror movie. And how is that making you feel? Not very good. So turn it off. Turn it off. Turn on Gaia. Turn on all of these amazing beings out there that are sharing the truth. What is really going on? And the truth is within all of us. That you are God. You are a sovereign, free-willed being. Okay? So again, getting close to the end here. You are immortal. So do not fear death. Death is graduation. There is nothing to fear because you're coming back. And your soul has been around many, many times. All right? And, this is another core belief that a lot of people have, that you get sick when you're in your 70s or your 80s and you die. You get some sort of disease and you die. That is not the case. Many people can live up to 500, 1,000 years old, right? Like my husband, he's 159, and you would never know. Right? And it's true. And so here's a quick little story too. You might not remember. Thank you. I was always wishing myself happy 27th birthday, and so was everyone else. And then it came time to attracting my husband, and I kept getting all these 20-year-olds asking me for dates. And I was like, oh, why is that? And then it clicked in that I was vibrating that I'm 27. okay, well, I gotta find a husband that's my age, at least I want to. So then I started vibrating my actual age, and in popped my husband. And now that I've met my counterpart, I'm like, okay, now I can go back to vibrating 29, because 2 plus 9 equals 11. 11 is a master number, is my master number. 2 is my favorite number. So your body is always listening. So what are you telling your body? I'm healthy, I'm young, I'm happy, I'm intelligent, I'm loved. All of these things, there's so much power in words. All right, now, getting to the almost last tool. Master your vibration. Okay, we want to learn to master our vibration. So the way that you are living needs to be your number one priority. Okay, the way that you are living your life, what you are thinking needs to be our number one priority in order to feel joy. Literally, otherwise, your unconscious will have its way with you, and you will think, a lot of people are upset at God, like, why is my life going this way? Because your unconscious mind is running the show. Okay, so when your conscious mind takes over and you begin to see what you are vibrating right now, what you are sending out in that world, you want to be aware of it and you want to choose what excites you. Okay? So you need to let go of circumstances. You need to let go of what's right in front of your face. Humans do this all the time. They look at what's right in front of their face and they say, oh, my life is not good. Look at my house. Look at my, my state. I lost my job. They're looking at their circumstances, okay, rather than what they want to see. Again, we need to activate that imagination. And the more and more we activate our imagination, the more and more we step into our Creator's shoes, our God self, and then we're living these magical lives. All right? So we need to take some time. When I was going on this big audition in New York, on the way in the taxi cab, I imagined the whole thing. I was so into it. I was like, they're going to love me. They're going to tell me, bless you. They're going to tell me, yes, we're taking her. And literally everything I imagined in that visualization, an hour later, came true. I was so in that moment. And another thing is you want to keep planting seeds. So every time your manifestation comes true, you want to think of the next thing and the next thing and keep staying in gratitude and keep staying in gratitude. Okay? And the worst thing we can do is watch our manifestation grow, because that's the best way to kill it. Okay, so we just want to leave it alone, because some things take longer to come in than others. And we just want to be in gratitude and keep manifesting and keep thinking and keep using our imagination, keep staying in that future presence. Okay? The present moment is the present moment. Being in the present moment is amazing. But if you think of it this way, would you rather be thinking about something you really love to do or be focused and worried on doing your taxes? Right? So it's just a simple way. This is a very fast tool to accelerate your life. All right. So lastly, I just want to close with a little practice from the Sophia Code. It is an affirmation to say yes to your higher self today. So you can just repeat after me, and it's just gonna activate this higher self within you. And you can do this every morning. You can just say, my higher self is running the show today for my greatest and highest good and the greatest and highest good of all. And I love my life and everything is amazing in it. So if we still have a problem saying I love my life and everything in it, you can say, I'm forgetting the guy that came up with this. He's amazing. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. No, it's not that one. It's the Napoleon Hill. He said, every day in every way, my life is becoming more and more amazing. Okay, so that gives you that leverage to get into it. Rather than feeling like it's a lie, I love my life, when you hate it and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. right? So every day in every way gives you that leverage. Every day in every way, I'm healing my body. Every day in every way, I'm loving my new job. Every day in every way, I'm enjoying my life with my partner. Every day in every way, I'm seeing the world and traveling everywhere. Okay, those are ways to expand your mind. All right, so please, if you would like to, repeat after me. I accept that I hold the golden keys to my heaven on earth. I accept that I create my reality by the power of my word. My word is good. My heart is pure. By the loving power of my word, I wholly accept that I am an omniscient creator of quantum reality, revealed by my divine inheritance of electrons. I now integrate this gnosis throughout my entire body, on all 4 levels of my being, with grace and ease. I have received more of myself today. It is done. It is done. It is done. By the power of 3, a perfect Trinity, it is done. Sat Nam, Namaste. Thank you all, beautiful souls, for being here today. Let the grace of God and all your angels and guides be with you constantly, opening and expanding your mind to really step into your Creator's shoes and be the God that you are. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you all the angels and guides that showed up today. And thank you to the Conscious Life Expo for holding this space. Sana. I brought some books. I wrote a book with a collection of females. It's called Dear Time, Are You On My Side? Be happy to sign it if anyone was interested. And I also have an email list if anybody's interested in life coaching. Or I'm also a doula. Anyway, thank you everyone. Happy to meet you all. Thank you for your presence. All right, have a beautiful Sunday. Thank you.